Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and close public comment in the next 10 minutes here. So um, 9:30 and take a quick break. Um, I'm going to go ahead and open up to Zoom. Do we have any comments on Zoom? If it's the same, if you want to reiterate what somebody else said, that's fine as well. Go ahead, Julie.
Thank you, everybody in the room. I want to take a deep breath for everyone sitting there in any chair or any floor or outside the doors. This is a major deja vu from back in 21, COVID, Danco days, in the same location, fear, fear. I really want to advise our council. We worked so hard for so long to get the majority of you there that I know back in the past, Brown's Act was never really adhered to. And I do feel tonight I would advise my council that please be aware there are a lot of situations evolving this evening that could put you guys at liability, and we've worked too hard to get you there. I do advise that you make a motion before we go to public comment. That's the most, unless you make a motion later, then you should open public comment again. So if we want to speed things up, get your dialogue in, make your motion, and let the public speak. I advise you to make a motion to postpone this at any delegation that you feel is appropriate, in the way that this was an inappropriate meeting for the public attendance. I do not want you guys to get in trouble. No prior council that was thrown under the bus got in trouble for this stuff in the past, but you guys are now a target, and I do not want to lose you. You guys are being very vulnerable right now, and I want the rest of the public to understand these guys are getting thrown under the bus, you guys. I've been a part of this for a long time, and this is definitely a situation that we should have a lot of respect for the people sitting there right now, some of them, but in the regards that we are being kind of pressured once again. And I just advise you guys, err on the side of caution, make the best decision tonight to exclude anything that would temper your positions where you are right now. And then we'll move on with this situation. Let's first protect you guys, is where I'm at. I'm worried about that with the situation. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Yes, go ahead, iPhone.
Thank you. My name is Anthony, and I worked in Blue Lake for a little over a decade at the Wild Rose Farm. I'm always looking for housing opportunities there, and I live in Arcata downstream. I drink from the pump, just like many other Humboldt County residents. And I wanted to say that while the interest in being in an existing site connected to the grid for power transitions might be why they're inquiring, it doesn't seem wise to use old infrastructure that might have degradation. And I agree that we should not be risking our natural resources or the health of our environment and the people who live here, and that it's offensive even that they would want to, that anyone would want a BESS facility in that location for those reasons. But I also have a question is, I did some research into lithium iron phosphate and understand that the BMS, which I'm assuming is battery management systems, they fail. It's a question of when, not if. So, what is the formal plan for when the BMS fails? Is one thing I wanted to bring up. And then, really, it's just great to see so many people making so many great points. As far as representative democracy goes, it seems unanimous, and I hope that you guys will make the right decision to send power transitions packing. And without their BESS plant, I think that the responsible decision is to recognize the value that the city of Blue Lake has in that location, to send someone out there to give you an estimate on what it would cost to clean up. There's several great local companies that could help you with that. And it would be good to see what they would charge before giving someone else the reign to do what they will. And then also, just thank you for taking the time to hear everybody. You know, this is representative democracy, and it's really important that the public's voice gets heard. So, thank you everybody for showing up. That's all I can say right now.
Much. Sorry, I apologize. I can't see your name. There's too many characters in it. Can you, Dee Dee, go ahead and go ahead. Linda
I'm
Cooley, go
here.
ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, Dee Dee, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. I agree with many of the statements here. I came to that town hall meeting adamantly opposed. I took in everything that we learned. I took in what was the obvious dishonesty of the presenters. I took in the condescension with which they approached us. But the thing that concerned me the very most, it's two things. First of all, I'm very concerned that we not sell 2 acres of Blue Lake property to a limited liability corporation of essentially modern day oil men. Because when they own that property, they might ditch the whole project. But then we have no real control over what's done with that property. We have no control who they might sell it to in the future. We have very little control over what might occur there. These are Texas folks that are about making money on energy. And a bunch of red flags have gone up for me because actually I've become less opposed to the concept, but all the red flags and bells and whistles go off for me when you have out of state people whose primary interest is making money, okay, saying, hey, we really want that property. Here's all the stuff we can put into it for you. Really? Like, I think in a normal world, we get second opinions, third opinions, fourth opinions. I think we have many local developers or at least state people that might be interested in this project of cleanup for reciprocation. And I really would like to please ask you to reconsider even selling this to that company out of Texas who has leaders that are poor examples of ethics. Because honestly, they just want to make their money and they don't give a shit about us. I mean, pardon my language. They just don't care. And that was pretty obvious in the way they talked. And I was sitting pretty close to the front when someone said, what is your ideal location for something like this? And, the guy said, we need to be near a grid. But then he said pretty quietly, so only some of us heard it in the front row, in a metropolitan area. Yeah, that's where it belongs. It doesn't belong here in rural Humboldt. It's not green energy, as was pointed out. And 4 days of, islanded power really doesn't do much for us. And my last concern is this. I studied the natural disaster hazards mitigation and risks of this area at Humboldt under Lori Dengler, world-renowned expert on earthquakes and tsunamis. Nobody has brought up the hazards that are inherent in the Mendocino Triple Junction, because I think the biggest risk for us, yes, there's obviously a potential for poisoning, and I'm very concerned about that, both water and air. But let me just say, please take into consideration the earthquake hazards and contact the experts that we have living in this county before you decide yay or nay on this project.
Thank you. We have 2 minutes left and we're going to close public session. Do we have to announce that, Ryan, before we begin, or like when? I thought we had 5 comments
Yeah,
according to the audience. No,
I'd take a poll and see how many comments we have left before deciding that.
we have 4 on Zoom right now, so that's
I'd give them.
okay. Great, thank you. Linda, go ahead.
Hi, thank you. My question and concern for council is oversight of this project. We just heard earlier that our city is having trouble tracking permits and licenses we currently have, which makes me really concerned. How are we going to track the licensing and permits on a project of this magnitude? We really don't have anyone qualified on our city staff to oversee some of this. So who would that be and how would the city pay for that? I think all of our city employees are overwhelmed and overworked. We're not able to get reports done with all the meetings. So who would be overseeing that and how will we pay for it? I don't think that that person is currently employed by the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Emily, go ahead.
Hi, I'm a resident of Arcata. I have 2 children I'm raising here, and I drink from the pump station that will be ruined if anything happens to the site. I would like to bring to the council's attention what we have seen over the last decade in regards to the media and how they are controlled by the people who line their pockets. And this seems to be a similar situation where an outside entity comes into a community and I mean, it's a little bit, it's different, but it's the same and has control over the community about of the health of the community. And so I I would like to remind everybody of what happened in North Carolina and Virginia and also in East Palestine. That site is absolutely not cleaned. Those people were not taken care of. A lot of them are very, very sick still. And the railroad did not do what it was supposed to do. And I honestly don't think that these groups that come in and are in the guise of green energy really going to take care of the citizens if anything actually happens. I agree with almost all of the comments that have been said, and I really hope that you bring this to the attention of the entire county and also not make any decisions anytime soon until the entire county has a say. And thank you, and I appreciate you giving us 3 minutes. Have a good night.
Thank you, Emily. Ray, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me? Actually, this is Becky. Becky Thornton Ragosa here. Hey, I just want to say that I actually agree with all of the people that have been ahead of me. I just know that I don't want to see this next to our river. That is my biggest concern right there. It's next to the river, and of course, second is who is doing this. LLC. Reason I've been in business 25 years. We've never become an LLC. There's a lot to that, and I just don't feel that that is a good situation for Blue Lake because believe me, you're going to lose control. That's not what you want. So please think about what you're doing. Think about what's happening here. To me, it's just, just not right. So be careful with what you're doing. But we thank you for all of the hard work that all of you are putting into this. So, and all the consideration. And we thank you for being up there. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Andrew, go ahead. Andrew, are you there, my guy? All right, Andrew. Not seeing you come up. I'm not trying to cut you off, but all right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and bring it back to council. I think we're gonna take a quick break and come back for a little further discussion. 5 minutes, yes. We'll come back in 5 minutes. Thank you. I know, that's what I'm worried about. This was hard to target it.
Right, you just have to sit there. This is what happens with public comment. You just have to sit there and take it.
Calling liar. I'm never.
Yeah, I and I could do it. Why? Bad. Huh? Yeah.
I know.
What's the word? Accusation.